Why, hello there. Uh, Welcome back to the Inventor SSP. This is episode 4, and first thing that I'm going to be doing is explaining what mods I use in this single player world. So, let's get right into it. Alright, so first on the list is a mod called Lightmatica, which means I can build something in a creative test world, make a blueprint of it, and then I can load it in a survival world, and it creates a blueprint and that shows me where to place all of the blocks. Now, I'm not making a tutorial of it right now, I'm just showing what mods I'm using. So, on to the next one. Alright, so next on the list is a mod called Tweakeroo, which is a really helpful mod, which I definitely recommend to anyone playing 1.16. But I would not use the mod like this on Hypixel or any server that has anti-cheat because it has some like fast auto clickers, and here I'll show you. So the first thing that I can do is offset place blocks, which means if I hold down Control, I set a bind. I set the keybind to Control. So if I hold that, this interface pops up where I can hover over the certain section of a block while holding down, and then if I click, I can, for example, click off of that, and it'll place it above a block. Now there's no other block there. You can see like I can place something else in that gap. It just places it off of nothing. And that means that I can also, if I place like there, I can just kind of place blocks like that, and it helps a lot when building things. You don't have to place like temporary blocks or anything. And then if I hold down V, I also set this to V, the same interface pops up, but this just changes the rotation of the block. If I hold it there, it'll make that piston face that way, and that one makes it face up. You can see how that works. And then the next one I set to B, which I'll just place a few blocks, which means I can offset like that. So I don't actually have to be looking at the face of the block to place a block there. And so that's another really helpful one. And then I set another keybind to Alt. So if I hold down Alt, it makes me face whatever I place. It makes it face into into the block that I'm placing it off of. And so I can combine. And then I also set another one to Q, which makes it face away from me, like away from the original point. So I can combine Q and Alt to make it face away from the block that I'm looking at. And so, yeah, if I open the Tweakeroo config with X and C, you can see there's lots of different like features. There's things, there's also a fast left clicker. You can see it doesn't look like I'm clicking that fast, but it's about 100 times a second on average. Same with right click. I don't really want to demonstrate it because it'll take a while to break any blocks that I place. And then there's also a really cool thing called fast placement, and that means if I place a block, for example, let's say on the top of another block, alright? Now I'm only able to place blocks on top of other blocks. If I like hover over, I'm still holding down right click. I can't place anything, but as soon as I hover over that, it'll place it because I'm only able to place down blocks until I let go, and then I can make it so that if I click again, since I placed off of that side of the block, I can only place off of that side now. It's kind of difficult to explain, but it's easy to get the hang of. So yeah, Tweaker is a really helpful mod. It also has another feature called Free Cam. So I set that to J. So if I click J, I can kind of exit my body and be in spectator mode. So I can just kind of look around without, and my player's still up there. It's just kind of a visual thing. And I know I could use this to just like find caves and stuff, but I don't need to find dungeons or anything like that. So yeah, Tweakeroo is definitely a really handy mod, but I would not use it on a server like Hypixel or any server that doesn't allow things like the features I mentioned, because some of the features are pretty much just hacks, but they do help with just quality of life when you're building things, clicking fast. Oh yeah, and then there's another one called block reach override, which this just means I can place blocks from farther away. You can see I'm looking all the way over there and I can place a block, but I can't really break it. You can see it doesn't break, and I can't really demonstrate this, but I can't attack players either with that, so it's just for building things. So yeah, Tweakeroo is definitely a really handy mod for just quality of life when you're building either farms or just builds in general. And yeah, it just makes things go by a lot faster and you don't have to waste your time placing extra blocks or any other things. Alright, so I'll move on now to the next thing on the list. Alright, so the next mod is another really handy mod called Mini HUD. So if I turn it on by pressing H, you can see some text appears in the top left of my screen, and it's pretty much just a customizable F3 screen. So if I press H and C, it'll open the config, and then I can just toggle on and off whatever I want to see. So if I want to see like my chunk position, I can turn that on. If I want to see chunk sections, you can see if you look in the top left, you can, as I click stuff, things just kind of turn on and off. So you can just turn on and off whatever you really want to see. And then it also has a really handy thing to find slime chunks. So if I, for example, press H and N, which is what I set to it, it'll set the slime chunks at my Y level, and since I'm so high up, it'll just make these kind of big towers. But if I use FreeCam to just kind of fly up, you can sort of see the pattern of slime chunks, and if I was lower down, it would just be a lot more easy to see everything. But yeah, so this helps a lot if you're just trying to find a good area of slime chunks. So if I turn that back off, another thing that I can do is see kind of the chunk edge. Well, I can't really FreeCam because it'll move along with me. So it just kind of moves with the player. Here, what's it called? Yeah, spawn chunks, but the player following ones. And there's another one, you can actually find the spawn chunks of your world, but I'm not close to the spawn chunks of this world, so I can't really show that. But yeah, so Mini HUD is a really helpful thing. It's just, you can also set things like shapes. I don't think there's any near me, but you can kind of, you can set like big spheres just so you can see where mobs would spawn, where they would despawn, where they don't move, just all different types of things. Mini HUD is just a really handy mod. So, alright, I'll move on to the next one now. Alright, so the next mod is a mod called Item Scroller. And another thing that I forgot to mention about Tweakeroo is I can toggle shulker box stacking. So I can just stack shulker boxes like this, just empty ones. If they have stuff inside, I can't stack them. But it's really handy just that I don't have to fill up my inventory with just empty shulker boxes whenever I need them. But one thing that Mini HUD can do is I can just drag one stack. I set it to hold shift, and then if I click, it'll throw out everything of the same type. So, and then I can also control click to just move one at a time. And then I can also shift right click to move all but one. You can see like that. And then of course I can just shift click to move everything at once. And then another thing is I can actually scroll, and then it'll move it there and back. Then I can go like that and it'll scroll them back. And it also has some things to help with villager trading, and yeah. So far these four mods that I've talked about, they classify as mods called masses mods, which are all created by a Skyscraper, which Skyscraper is another server that many really technical Minecrafters play on, and one of them is they call themselves Massa, and they created all of these mods, and yeah, they kind of just carry everyone through Minecraft. Alright, now I have a few more mods, but they're not really as helpful as the other ones, but they're still good to have. So if I'll turn mini HUD off just for now. If I press tab, I can see the TPS of the world, which is 20 because it's just single player, and I can also see the mob cap. This is using a mod called Carpet Mod. So if I just do like /log, I can log just about everything here. And here, I'll go over to a creative world so I can show some other things. Alright, so I'm in a creative testing world, and you can see I've created this clock. It's just Redstone Clock. It'll turn on and off. And so the way that, first I need to explain this. The way that random tick speed works is, so if you do /game rule random tick speed, it's by default 3. I have it at 0 just so that nothing happens. But what that means is every subchunk, which is a 16 by 16 by 16 area of blocks, every tick per second, usually it's by default at 20. So every tick per second, if I just log TPS, which is ticks per second, it's at 20, which means 20 times a second if I had random ticks on. At 3 blocks in a subchunk would be chosen, and then it would perform an action like grow a crop, send some kind of update, or anything like that. So increasing the random tick speed just increases the number of blocks that can be chosen. So you can just make it 1,000 blocks will be chosen at a time, 1,000,000. There's probably not a million there, but still. But one cool feature of Carpet Mod is I can change the tick rate. So instead of just having it 20 like normal, I can actually change it all the way up to, I'll go 40. And if you watch this clock, it is now going twice as fast because I turned the ticks up, and now if I press tab, the TPS is now at 40. And if I can make it 80 so that it's twice as fast as that. And everything is still happening the normal way that it would, it's just faster. Like you can see if I can't really place blocks there, but alright. Yeah, you can see it's still pushing them like normal. It's just happening a lot faster than by default. So if I tick rate 0, or not 0, at 20, so now it's back to normal, and you can see the clock is once again back to normal. And it has a lot of other features, like you can see these. I'll just kind of go through them. There's lots of features. So yeah, Carpet Mod is just kind of a good one to have just for testing. It doesn't help an insane amount in survival, just really just the seeing the mob caps and ticks per second in tab is pretty handy. And then alright, I guess I can just go straight to the next one. So I have a hotbar set to this is for my Lightmatica, and this is just a wooden axe, but I have a texture pack that makes it look like a magic wand. And it's just a world edit, so I can just do the normal world edit commands. You can just see, just world edit, and or just so you know, I use fabric. So if you know what forge is, then it's just an addition to the Minecraft launcher so you can have mods. So fabric is pretty much the same thing, just different. And so all of the mods that I use are made for fabric, and that's what I use. But I do not use any of these mods on a Hypixel. I have a separate game directory for my Hypixel mods. Alright, so I'll go back to my survival world now. Alright, so what I want to do now is build another one of those skyscrapers, because I don't know, it's just I want to have a city. So here we go. I'll start the replay. Alright, so that was a pretty fun build. It took about an hour, and there's nothing on the inside yet again. But I just wanted something to fill this gap between this massive skyscraper and this one that I built in another episode. So, I also, one thing that I added was some giant vines growing up the side of that building, because if I go inside here, and I go up a floor, I didn't want a building that would just completely obstruct the view of this skyscraper, so I decided to add some greenery, and I think it turned out pretty well. So you can just kind of still see something while you look from there. And there's also some graffiti, just some random colors. Oops, I didn't mean to open that. And, yeah, so this was a pretty fun build and turned out pretty cool. Fits in well. And, alright, I guess I'll head over to my main storage so that I can add this episode's, what's it called? This episode's to-do list for today. Alright, so I think today's, thing that I'll add to the to-do list is make a nether wart farm, because I don't have a good way to get lots of that right now. It'd be cool to make an AFK-able farm for that, and, yeah. Alright, so what did you think of this video? Leave a comment to let me know. Subscribe if you haven't, because that would be cool, and you'll get good luck. Yeah. Leave a like, and yeah. Goodbye.